Third Buddhist Council by Venerable Moggaliputta Tissathera about the Kathavatu. So that's why after that,
and those were the teachings that were collected from the north and the south.
Yeah, north south together.
And that became the Abhidhamma.
Now became one Pakarana among seven, because Abhidhamma we have seven Pakarana, seven books.
Oh, so it came one.
Yeah, one book called Kathavatu.
Okay.
Kathavatu about the controversy.
Oh.
Yeah, controversy Kathavatu. So.
And that's in the Abhidhamma now.
Yeah, Abhidhamma now.
Now it's
in
there. Okay,
yeah.
So that's the first book.
Not the first book. It I think the fifth. The first book Dhammasangani,
yeah.
Vibhanga, Thadugata, Pukkalapanyati, and Kathavatu. The fifth one, Yamaka and Patana. So after that, Moggaliputta Tissathera established the Theravada, Vinaya Pitaka, Sutta Pitaka, and Abhidhamma Pitaka, full version after the Buddhist Council. And then Northern Buddhism, they did not accept Abhidhamma, and then they go to the northern side and they establish their own Abhidhamma. And then
because Nalanda already happening, because we had Asanga and Vasubandhu.
Nalanda have their own background already. They have established the school already, and then most of Northern Buddhism, Mahasangika from the second council, they went to Nalanda and they get the big group. That's why they call Mahasangika. Mahasangika, they have their 7 group. The Mahasangika, it means the big group, Mahasangika. So because of that, and go to the northern, they have Venerable Pushwara. Yeah, I cannot remember.
Oh yeah, Pushwara.
Yeah, Pushwara. He has again to.
That's the region.
Yeah,
Pushwara.
Yeah, they have northern down. They written down again about the northern Buddhist canon, especially for Agamas and Dasa Mahavastu. And from Southern Buddhism, from the Third Buddhist Council, Ashoka sent 9 missions around the world. We can say around the world, but not around the world. But
in Southeast Asia.
But especially to Sri Lanka, sent his sons and daughters, especially Mahinda, sent to Sri Lanka. But 2 years he did not go yet. He just stayed in his homeland in Sanchi in southern India, and then he spread Buddhism in southern India. So that's why we call Southern Buddhism. And many scholars from southern India. And then after 2 years, Venerable Mahinda with his friend going to Sri Lanka and
with his sister, right?
Sister come later.
Oh,
yeah,
not the same time.
Not the same time, because at the first time there are 5 bhikkhus. One Samanera, his nephew, the son of Sankamita, and one Upasaka come with him to Sri Lanka, and then established Buddhism in Sri Lanka. And then the queen, the queen want to ordain. That's why he sent message to bring his sister Sankamita, and then Ashoka sent Sankamita with the Bodhi branch to Sri Lanka later and ordained
the first
50th queen after Bhikkhuni.
Right.
Yeah, Bhikkhuni. And then after that Mahinda ordained 60 minister of the king, and then build a temple for the 60 monk. And this 60 monk first called Aritta. Aritta have set the 4th Buddhist Council in Toparama in Anuradhapura. We consider that the 4th Buddhist Council, but it's not like a Buddhist council, because just only Aritta learned direct from Mahinda, and he just render this Mahinda teaching to Sri Lanka, not original, no more Indian style, but Sri Lankan style, just transfer. Yeah, from Mahinda to Sri Lanka by Aritta. Aritta is the Sri Lanka, the first monk who do the Buddhist and spread Buddhism in Sri Lanka. And Aritta transfer from Mahinda. So that's why they consider that's the 4th Buddhist Council. And the fifth Buddhist council also they considered the work of Buddha Kosa in the,
That's what I wanted to ask about
Yeah.
Buddhaghosa, because
okay.
his is very amazing
Yeah.
how he remembered everything by memory. 3 times, didn't they say like 3 or 4 times by memory? They tested him.
Yeah.
So what was his story, and who was Buddhaghosa? He was a Sri Lankan monk or Indian monk?
He
monk.
Indian monk, but also we have controversy about his biography.
Oh.
Most of the text they explain that Buddha Kosa from northern India, from Bodh Gaya. But whatever we discuss later on, he is not the northern Indian. He is the southern Indian.
What makes you think is southern Indian?
Because we have read some text written by him that he was spent a lot of time in Badara Vihara and Badara in the
Badra.
Yeah.
How do you spell Badra?
Badara
H-
B-A-D.
Oh,
Badra mean the Juju tree.
Badra is a different, interesting.
Juju tree. Jujube. Yeah, Jujube tree. The translation. And also, yeah, he stay in some ports that refers to the South India, and his he learned with the Bande Buddhadatta. Buddhadatta also from South India,
I see.
and later on the Dhammapala, the great commentator, also from South India. He is Kola, Kola. Yeah.
So he was from southern India.
Yeah, this is the later research, but mostly the text is when the Buddha Kusupati. Buddha Kusupati written later on in Myanmar and translated to English by Dr. James Gray. He Englishman, but he's the Bali professor 10 years in Myanmar. He translated Buddha Kusupati, and in his introduction, he mentioned also Buddhaghosa was in northern India, and the text also in Pali written that he was northern India. But when we read in his how to say the last section of the book he wrote. So mostly he mentioned about his place, his workplace, not about the birthplace. And before Buddha Kosa went to Sri Lanka, he has also written another book already. Especially he had written the Adda Salini, the commentary on Abhidhamma. The first book of Abhidhamma he was written before he is going to Sri Lanka. And one book that very well-known book called Nyanodaya is his first book he written. Nyanodaya means the shining knowledge. So it is refers to Milinda Banya that we have recited last year.
Yeah, what we just recited.
Yeah.
But why would he be connected to that? Is his own?
Because he's learned. Because Milinda Banya was control
so
conversation.
His commentary on that?
No, the conversations between Nagasena and King Milinda.
Yeah.
And this noted by another monk, but to transfer to the text like the book by Buddha Kosa and later on in the 5th century. He just learned from that because he learned everything in India, even though he learned especially Hinduism. That's why some discussion take more influence by Hindus. That's why some scholar at that time have skepticism on him, whether he still bring more Hinduism into Buddhist text. So that's why. But as I read, he's not put any Hinduism text. Just only explanation. And reading his commentary, he not write by own idea. He is not translate everything from Sinhalese commentary, but he take the 15 Sinhalese commentary, just render, just only he just only render.
He
like,
translated it? He transliterated it. So
yeah,
no translation,
not
just the
not
sound,
translate everything.
the sound of it.
just read
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
He just only take three main commentary, Mahatagata, Mahapajari, and Kurunti. The three main Atthakatha to be a main source of writing. He not take all the word. He just only cut the long and connect from this part together to make a good meaning. But when he give his own idea, he just said, my opinion about this text is like that, and not many in his commentary, not many, only some. So that's why some people they say that commentary is Buddhaghosa idea, Buddhaghosa written by his own knowledge, but no, he just take all the commentary together. When he want to put his idea, he said, my opinion like this. Athanomatiya, in Bali, he said Athanomatiya, according to my personal opinion, like this. So commentary is not Buddhaghosa own idea, but he learned and he do it based on all commentary, so that it is acceptable. But there's some people they say that they don't accept the Atthakatha, they don't accept the commentary, but it is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting because when I think about the Theravada, when I think about these great monks who preserved the teachings of the Buddha, you know, they wrote it down so carefully, they didn't change any word.
Yeah.
They really tried to remember by what they heard and then wrote it down. Then the practice side of it, because for example in the Tibetan tradition, there's a lot of commentary.
Yes.
So you have either the root, what they call the root text,
Yeah.
then you have commentary, the Atta Tika, I think is
Atthakatha.
Atthakatha.
Yeah.
They have the Atthakatha. And the commentary is very important
Yes.
because the commentary is based on the realization or the awakening
Yes.
of the student. So almost like the student's realization. So you have the master and you have the student realization of awakening.
Yeah.
And in the Theravada, you only have the Buddha Vachana, and then any commentary is much less, right?
Yeah.
So only one is the Buddha Vachana, right?
Yeah. In Theravada, we accepted Tripitaka. We call original word Pali. Pali means the Buddha's teaching. If we say Pali, it is mean Buddha's teaching. In the text canon, we have two words, Pali, Paripuccha. Pali means the original teaching of the Buddha. Paripuccha means the commentary. And this commentary is not only the later exposition. Commentary, Paripuccha means sometimes the Buddha do it by himself. Sometimes the Arahant like Mahakayana, Sariputta, Ananda, or some other Arahant at the Buddha's time do it. We call Paripuccha. So Pali, Paripuccha, the original teaching and the explanation. And this tradition remembered by Arahant, especially in the first Buddhist council, they do both Pali and Paripuccha, the Pali and commentary together. And this tradition, oral
tradition.
Yeah, oral tradition from time to time until the until the Vadagamini colonial Vadagamini reigns in Sri Lanka in I think in the 83 before Christ. So the first letter of Tripitaka was written in palm leaves in the Aluvihara in Sri Lanka. So beyond that, all oral tradition taken from time to time, and they have then not one group take this tradition. If one group take tradition, sometimes they miss some interpretation or miss something. For example, the commentary on the Mahanidesa of Sutta Pitaka. Mahanidesa was lost once, and in Sri Lanka there is the good virtuous monks and the not good virtuous monk. He break many rules. He is not good monk, and Mahavihara did not consider him as a monk, just only something a bad monk, something like that. But he remembered that Mahanidesa. That's why Mahavihara, as the Theravada, sent the monk to learn from him. Even he arahant, but he had to bow the Putuchina, the ordinary monk, to learn Mahanidesa and to complete Tripitaka. Because sometimes they lost. Arahant also forget. Yeah, that's why from the first Buddhist council, Venerable Ananda take responsibility to remember and to teach his student and his generation about Dikha Nikaya. Only Dikha Nikaya you have to focus. Venerable Ananda focus with his student about Dikha Nikaya. Only 34 sutras with commentary. Not only Buddha's word but commentary too. Only 34 sutra Ananda with his student have to take care of it, and Ananda student living in the second Buddhist council like Venerable Sabbagami, Venerable Revata, Venerable Yasaka Kanaputra, all of the student of Ananda, he remembers. And the student of Sariputta, 500 monk that former the birth, and he learned Abhidhamma at the beginning when the Buddha teach Abhidhamma in the heaven. So these 500 monks take responsibilities of Majjhima Nikaya. This is the student of Sariputta. So takes responsibility about 152 sutras in Majjhima Nikaya with commentary. And Venerable Anuruddha, Venerable Kashyapa, Mahakashyapa, the chief of First Buddhist Council, with his student, take responsibility of Samyutta Nikaya with commentary, and Venerable Anuruddha, with his student, take responsibility of Anguttara Nikaya, and student of Anuruddha live until Second Buddhist Council too, because Venerable Anuruddha, as I remember, he was 150, I think, years old. He passed. He's long, and Ananda 120 years old. Gempila he lived until 160 years old. So close to Second Buddhist Council, just only 60 years. So that's why tradition by tradition they just learn group by group, preserving.
Yeah.
But from Sri Lanka they learn all, transferred by Mahinda to Arita in Sri Lanka they learn from all another from India they have like 25. No, from India, Upali, he take responsibility from Vinaya, and Upali he learn all the Tripitaka. Upali, Dasaka, Upali, Sonaka, Dasaka, Sikava, Moggalliputta, Disthira. These 5 monks from Upali until the third Buddhist council, only 5 generations. And then Moggalliputta Disthira teach Mahinda, and Mahinda take this all Tripitaka to Sri Lanka, and another 25 generation to
so,
write.
You know, it's sometimes so amazing.
Yeah.
About, like, I think about how lucky I am to be in the middle of a Tipitaka, because I actually don't know all this, the history and all of this, but to think that we are preserving by pronouncing the Buddha Vachana, keeping it alive, and for the monks, the Sangha, to remember the original teachings of the Buddha, so that we can keep it longer and longer for sasana, is very important. I sometimes forget. But this conversation, I remember why it's so important for Buddha Sasana to stay longer
Yeah.
on this planet in this time until Maitreya.
Yeah. Yeah, you asked me,
until Maitreya?
Yeah, until or beyond, or before. You know, now he is the Sangaraja of Sri Lanka in Ramanya Nikaya, my Atangane Ratanapala.
The old one or the?
Now he is the president of the Thera Sabha of Sri Lanka, Ramanya Nikaya. He used to stay with me in Arizona, and he said that why most of people waiting for Maitreya?
Yeah.
Because we can now